Hello, and welcome back to Freelance Friday. Today, we're going to dive into some social media advertising data. I'm often asked for advice and data and information about paid ads, right? Meta ads, TikTok ads, for example. And today, I'm going to share some details that my friends at Metricool have put together in a shiny, fancy little report. If you didn't know, Metricool, one, is the sponsor of the Freelance Friday podcast. So shout out to them and their support. But they also are an incredible all in one social media tool that enables you to schedule posts, plan posts, organize posts, analyze posts, and even run ads actually through their platform, which is pretty cool. And they put out these really fantastic reports every once in a while. So I'm going to leave a link to sign up for Metricool. You can get a 30-day free trial on any of their paid plans using the code Latasha at the link down there. They also have an incredible free plan that is free forever. And I'll also leave a direct link to this report so you can look into it in detail because we're just going to be covering like some of the highlights together because it is jam packed. So let's get into it. Here is the data set, first of all, and the methodology. They analyzed over 500,000 campaigns to put this study together, and that accounted for almost 50,000 ad accounts and over $188 million in ad spend. So I love these reports because obviously I'm not spending $188 million on ads. I can only give you like little anecdotes here and there. So this is really good stuff. Okay, so at a glance, let's look at this page together first. They said only 2.5% of brands that they, studied at least use TikTok and Meta ad campaigns. So that's something interesting to note. Like if you're looking to try something different for your clients or for your business, if you want to stand out, it sometimes feels like advertising is very saturated. Like I feel like I see, we obviously see so many ads all the time, but it seems like there is still a lot of opportunity. So it might be something to consider giving a shot. The longest lasting campaigns were Meta lead campaigns, which ran on an average of 72 days, excuse me. We used to run, when I worked in corporate, I worked for a corporate staffing company, and we used to run lead ads for hiring campaigns. And often those would have minimum, dates. Like we would have to keep the post open for 30 days or 60 days or whatever. And we're also seeking a really quality lead. So it makes sense to me that those would last for a long time as opposed to like a traffic ad for a campaign that maybe is just running for a weekend. The shortest lasting campaigns were 25 days on average, and those were interaction campaigns on Meta. And then the most interactions, 30.8% of interactions on Meta came from traffic campaigns. That is very true to my experience. Again, working in corporate and running these ads, traffic was always what I ran when I wanted to get, a lot of interactions. Okay, overall, the favorite campaign types for brands, 37% said interaction ads, and 24% said video view ads on TikTok, and that 37% was Meta. So basically, this study is kind of comparing and showcasing both TikTok ads and Meta ads. So keep that in mind. Campaigns that generated the most impressions, 34% came from Meta recognition campaigns. 34% also, just a little bit lower, came from TikTok outreach campaigns. So those are kind of equivalents, if you will. Campaigns with the highest average spend, $4,627 for app promotion campaigns on Meta and $2,408 from app promotion campaigns on TikTok. So app promotion campaigns are expensive. I've run only a few of these when I worked for different startups and things like that, and they have been expensive because it's like you're getting people to download something to their phone, and often it's a new app that they've never heard of before. So I think as a strategist, my advice would be to maybe run like traffic ads first and really warm up that audience so that you are getting them used to your brand, getting them to know, like, trust your brand before you deploy ad promotion ads because those are expensive. And that tracks with the cost per click, how much money you actually have to spend to get people to click. 42 cents per click for app promotion campaigns on Meta and 51 cents for video views on TikTok. That one's kind of interesting. All right. So They kind of have a page here that just explains like if you need instant results, organic content's not always enough. And I'll go off the script a little bit. You guys can read what Metricool thinks, but the big benefit to me for running ads, for running paid ads, is number one, a targeted audience. So with organic, I can say, oh, I'm opening a grocery store tomorrow in, I don't know, like Detroit, Michigan. And I can post on TikTok and try to tell everybody, but you're going to be reaching people from Japan, from Chicago, from Los Angeles, from England, I don't know. And so, you're not getting like just that geo-targeted area, or there are other targeting layers that you can add, right? You can add age. If I know that, women in their 30s tend to be the people who visit a grocery store more often than anybody else. I'm just totally making that up. I have no idea. Maybe that's a little unfair of me to say, but whatever. Let's just pretend I can target women in their 30s in Detroit so they hear about this grocery store, right? So that's one of the big benefits. And then the other benefit, like Metricool mentions, is instant results, right? Like you have to wait. Organic content takes time. I always look back, like I'll be like, oh man, that video flopped on YouTube or Instagram or wherever, TikTok. Then I come back to it like 3 months later and I'm like, wow, it really took off. It really gained some legs. And that's the amazing thing about organic content is it can do a lot of work for you when you're kind of not even expecting it. But that's also the downside of organic content is if you have a campaign, like I said, an opening of a store or a sale or something like that, you need the right people to see it right now. So, yeah. So, how they organize this report is they kind of shared top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, add examples and best practices. So, top of the funnel is best for brand visibility. So, again, if I am a brand new startup, I'm a brand new luggage company, and I just want people to start to like recognize my name, start to think of me, boom. Middle of the funnel is consideration, right? Maybe you've seen a couple of different luggage ads now in your feed. Well, I want you to like start to really click on my ads, poke around on my website a little bit, look at reviews, and start to consider purchasing mine. And then bottom of the funnel is conversion, right? I want you to actually make the sale. I want there to be some type of a hook or an offer or a feature or benefit that you're seeing that makes you click that buy now button from my ad. So, in general, I really like this slide. They talk about the campaign types for each stage of the funnel. So, if you're somebody who's looking to reach the top of the funnel, you might run a TikTok reach ad or a Facebook or Meta, awareness ad campaign. If you're looking to reach people at the middle of the funnel, TikTok video views campaign, a Meta interaction campaign, or a Meta or Instagram it's too many words. Or a Meta or TikTok traffic campaign. There's like too many like platforms and stuff. It's confusing. Bottom of the funnel now, we've got Meta or TikTok app promotion campaigns, right? Get them to install the app. TikTok sales lead gen, TikTok web conversions, Meta sales, or Meta potential clients. So those are kind of like, I think that's helpful to see, especially if you're new at running ads, because you're like, which one do I choose? Well, think about which stage of the funnel you're trying to reach people at. Are you trying to get them to just know who you are? Are you trying to get them to buy something? Or are you trying to get them to like poke around your website? And that should kind of help as a guide. So I'll skip through. Again, please check out this full study yourself and read through every page, but we don't got time for that. I just want to give you I think, most insightful things here that I can speak to at least. So top of the funnel, they talk about the price of being seen. On average, it costs 32 cents per view, I'm guessing, or impressions it would be on TikTok, and 33 cents on Meta. So very similar price points. So I think this goes to, go with the one that makes the most sense to your audience. They're very similar in price. So again, if you are maybe trying to target a very young demographic, I would say run TikTok ads versus if you're trying to target, people who are maybe middle age, go with Meta in general. And obviously there are other indicators, but that's a good place to start. It looks like brands, though, however, are spending more on TikTok right now. They spend 85% more on TikTok to get the word out for that top of funnel content, which is interesting. And I think this probably speaks to just like where we're at in the culture of social media. Everybody knows that TikTok is like the hot new thing. And then it really drives a lot of cultural conversations, meaning it drives a lot of trends. It's like, there's that whole I saw it on TikTok or I found a TikTok recipe or whatnot. So I think a lot of brands are like, ooh, we want to try that. Also, with the potential TikTok ban that we've seen, over the year, probably a lot of brands are like, let's just cut to the chase. And we might not be able to afford waiting, right? With like YouTube, we can be like, oh, pay an influencer to post a YouTube video and it might even pop off a year from now. But if TikTok's going to be banned, they're probably like, wait, we want the results now before this app gets taken down. I'll show some examples. I really like that they actually pulled examples from the ad libraries here of ads that performed well for top of the funnel content. So this one, let's see, it is the advertiser is Preply Inc.
If you want to learn a new language in 2024, here's the absolute best way to do it. The Preply app connects you with a one-on-one online tutor who will teach you how to read, write, and speak like a native speaker. And this is super important because learning from a native speaker is way more effective than just repeating AI-generated responses. Easily keep track of your progress with structured lesson plans. There's over 30,000 tutors to pick from, so finding your perfect match is going to be super easy. Forget about New Year's resolutions and actually learn a new language. Tap the link
Okay,
below now.
let's see what they said about this one. They said, this is the brand's most successful campaign. It was active for over 6 months. It explains its value proposition in a straightforward way, even to those unfamiliar with it. Agreed. Straightforward, simple. I love that they did a screen share of the app so I could like really see and trust and make sure that I was downloading the right one. Let's look at this next example, which is also from Preply.
Spanish. I think I want to learn Spanish. This year, I'm gonna finally be fluent in Spanish. Estoy 28 años. Did you neglect your language learning goals again? What you really need is Preply. Preply is the most effective language learning app. You get personalized online lessons with one-to-one tutors to help keep you on track. And if you don't like it, get your money back or try a different tutor. Don't let another year slip by. Kickstart
This
your
is
language
great.
goals
I really
today
like the
with Preply.
storytelling aspect of that one. I also like that there was a 100% money back guarantee. That is a huge objection. That's an example of overcoming objections and kind of making it like a why not for people. It says, seize the moment. Campaign was launched at the beginning of the year, linked to New Year's resolutions. Love that. Okay, let's look at a couple others just because this is fun. This is Loop Earplugs, another top of the funnel example. I'm going to put it on mute just because it's using maybe music that might be copyrighted. But what I really like about this one is that it starts like it just looks like a normal TikTok, like a lifestyle TikToker's post or something. I'm like, oh, who's playing? Is that Coldplay? Coldplay. I think they do a good job of like capturing you in. It doesn't feel like an ad. And even just the text that they're using, it's like, please wear earplugs. Like, don't be like me and have hearing damage. It's almost like big sis vibes, like, just very personal. I love that. Okay. Let's talk about middle of the funnel. So basically, they say from window shopping to entering the store, this is how much it costs to attract customers to your business. So to actually walk in that store, cost per click on TikTok is 1 cent. Meta, 5 cents. So a little more expensive on on Meta. Brands do pay 400% more per click on Meta. So that could be due to a number of factors. I still wouldn't say rule Meta out, right? There are still reasons why Meta ads are going to be the better choice for you. One of those reasons, I just have to guess, and I don't know, I haven't read through this whole thing, but if your audience is on Meta, right? TikTok in general tends to skew a little bit younger. Now, I'm not saying it's only kids on there. We all know there's lots of adults on there, but there are a larger share of young people on there. So generally, if you're, 15 years old or whatever, you can't afford these fancy earplugs, or you might not have the same concerns, right, for earplugs and hearing loss as a 35-year-old would who owns a business. So there are still definitely reasons to advertise. Don't let the cost only scare you away. Click-through rates. So 4.9% click-through rate on TikTok and 2.5 on Meta. I think another thing about this too is people are more used to ads on Meta, and therefore I think we're a little bit wiser about them. We're like, ooh, I can detect an ad from a mile away. I kind of see the formula. I may be burnt out on it. I see ads a lot more on Meta. Whereas TikTok, like that example I just showed with the earplugs, that felt really natural. Like I probably would have gotten sucked into watching that for at least a few seconds before even realizing it was an ad. So let's look at some examples of middle of the funnel content. Um, let's see. This is another TikTok example. We've got lots of TikTok examples. This is it? Wow. Wow, that was really interesting. I also forgot to mention at the outset, this is one you should probably watch. If you're on the listing platforms, you're probably like, what is she doing? So we just watched, this is a VR company. It's Five Mind Creations. It's super visual content showing you everything you can do with the product according to Metricool, conquering from the first second of the video and showing that it is accessible to any user. So that's really interesting. I'm really shocked, honestly, that that one does super well because it like didn't have any call to action really. Maybe I need to watch it again, but it was pretty much just a girl like punching things and like playing around with the app. So very interesting. Here's a meta example. This is for booking.com. Hmm. Okay, so this one says POV, it's your turn to book the hiking trip. So you choose the flattest European country, but you forgot about Dutch stairs. And then it's like a couple or two friends, I'm not sure, carrying a suitcase up a bunch of stairs. So it's just like a funny little ad. So that's exactly what Metricool said. It uses humor to connect with a specific audience with a fondness for hiking. Short and sweet. Let's look at one more. This is for Adobe on TikTok.
Student can be very, very stressful, which means taking time for self-care. And my favorite form of self-care is booking a trip. And of course, you have to get all the good Instagram photos while you're away. This is also one of my favorite hobbies. But sometimes your photos actually look like this and have lots of random things in the background, which is why I use Adobe Express, which is free to download. I use the AI feature to remove objects from the background of my photo so that all of them are Instagram worthy. Adobe Express is actually perfect for students as they're actually offering free Adobe Express Premium for 6 months when students sign up using their ac.uk email. So if you want your photos to go from this to this, then this is your sign to download Adobe Express to make sure that you get all of the perfect photo to remember your amazing trip.
Love that. That's so good. I love that there's a storytelling element to it as well. It's not just like, do you want your photos to look like this instead of this, which that alone would probably be pretty effective. But they added the storytelling format, right? She's saying, like, hey, I went on this amazing trip. I want amazing photos to remember it by. And she's kind of got like the little TikTok girly like walk. And, you know, it's very engaging and very storytelling. Okay. Bottom of the funnel. This is what we all want to know about, right? How do we actually make that money, honey? So, getting shares from users is over 600% more expensive on TikTok than on Meta. 600%. I notice that people are a little stingy on TikTok with their shares, with their engagement, right? It's again, I think it goes back to partially the demographic on TikTok. There's a lot of younger people who might be like, "Oh, it's cringe to like share an ad," or who are just like more used to seeing ads throughout their life and therefore they are more like aware of them, you know, whereas like maybe somebody who is my mom's age, for example, sometimes somebody they might share an ad and not even necessarily realize it's an ad or see it as like sort of a negative thing. I think the younger generations kind of view ads a little bit more negatively, if that makes sense. That's just my hypothesis. Acquiring leads on Meta is 62.5% cheaper than on TikTok. So this is where you go if you want to hit that down funnel move. And they go on to say basically TikTok entertains and Meta sells. 19.8% web conversions on TikTok, 61% sales on Meta. And this is based on conversions generated of the total number of campaigns analyzed. So basically, Meta is where the conversions, where the sales happened comparatively. So we'll talk about some bottom of the funnel ad examples. This is for Flow on TikTok.
See, this is why I've used Flow since 2017. If you haven't heard of it, it's the most used period tracker in the world. It tells you when your fertile window is and when your period is going to come. To start tracking your cycle, tap to download now.
What I really love about this is, again, like some of those other examples, it really is like storytelling. Like it felt like just a normal TikTok. Like I see those like shorts, reels, TikToks all the time. They're just like funny. It's like, oh, that's relatable, right? Like hee hee, like. But then it goes into the ad part. So you notice like they could have started with just like, hey, do you want to track your cycle and know when you're fertile and blah blah blah. But no, they were like, let's do a couple seconds of humor first, and that's really platform specific. Like it really feels like it's meant to be on the platform, and then we'll go in for the sale. Let's see. This one is London Nootropics, another TikTok example.
Energy with Zen on Ice. Zen is our most balancing adaptogenic coffee blend designed to promote a sense of peace, combating the effects of stress, tension, and irritability. With premium adaptogen extracts to help us enjoy the benefits of coffee in our day while staying balanced. Unwind, chill, and add some zen to your day.
Very aesthetically pleasing, like, and her voice is very pleasing. It says it emphasizes the benefits of their product and how it differs from coffee or their usual products by directly attacking the user's pain points. Great. Yeah, absolutely great insight. But I also think like the aesthetics, the visuals of that really made it, again, not feel like an ad. It felt like, oh, I'm learning, I'm relaxing. Her voice is very relaxing. So yeah, there we go. It goes through and gives some analysis on, percentage of ad spend and things like that you can definitely read through. But here are some of their top conclusions. They say to get noticed, brands choose TikTok with their wallet because TikTok CPM is nearly identical to Meta, yet brands are betting more money on TikTok in the discovery phase. The middle of the funnel is also TikTok categories. So it's interesting because when we think about the whole sales funnel, right? It's like know, like, trust, or top funnel, mid funnel, conversion. And it seems like those top two are, the know, like, that's where people are seeing success on TikTok. Get people to know who you are, enter kind of the cultural conversation, if you will, and then make the sale on Meta. They say Meta sweeps in the final phase. When the objective is to sell, Meta is unrivaled. Its sales campaign generates 61% of total conversions with a CPA up to 7 times cheaper than TikTok at this stage. If you're looking for direct return, Meta seems to be the safest bet. And there's also a little insight here, which is exactly kind of what I just said. They say combining both platforms maximizes the impact, which I totally agree with. Start on TikTok, enter that conversation, get people to start using your product, getting familiar with your product on TikTok. And then you can also do things like retargeting. So if people do click in that mid funnel stage, if they click on your ad on TikTok, well, you can retarget, using Meta based on website traffic and, different examples like that. So very cool to see. If you want to measure your campaigns well, definitely get signed up for Metricool. If you want to run ad campaigns, get signed up for Metricool. It is totally free. And you can use my code Latasha to try any of their premium features for free for 30 days at the link down in the show notes. But overall, I hope you learned something about advertising today. This was really interesting and insightful for me personally. And if you have any questions about ads or want me to do more on it, please do let me know, because I'm always happy to share what I know and dive deeper into these topics for y'all. So thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe to the channel, to Spotify, to Apple if you are a regular listener or viewer, and leave me a comment, please, down below. I love to hear from you and know what y'all are up to. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you in my next one. Bye.